This is a tutorial on how to use the Track4 EXE software by Droidman. When you first open the software, this will be the dimensions. This is not good. You must open the software up to be a little larger, and you can shrink it down to be at about that size right there, somewhere right about there. The reason I do this is so that I will have room to put it on the left side of my computer screen, because my casino screen goes right over here on the right, and I want to be able to look over and quickly see the software and then look back and see the screen and keep an eye on both of them at once. Now, the first thing that will happen, or the first thing you should need to know, is you just enter the numbers with your keypad and the enter key, and the number -2. If you've made a mistake on your last entry, and you can only do this one time, if you put in a number and it's wrong, then you can hit -2, enter, and it will take that one number off. If you make two mistakes, you're going to have to start over. So the Track4 puts on your desktop a file called results. If you do make this mistake, you can go back to your results and just start over, and it's a bad thing to do. So you really need to be very careful that you have put in the right number. I've gotten to the point where I see the number on the black screen and verify it in my head before I hit that enter. Now that's what the -2 function does. The -1 function will go back until you have only 20 numbers in the Track4. That's called the jump feature or jump back feature. You usually only go to about 50 to 55 numbers with this, and then especially if things are going bad for you, you jump back. But even if things are not going bad and you don't see any crossings within the next few spins, you jump back anyway. A lot of times when you jump back, you will have an immediate crossing. You'll have like a 3 versus greater than 3, or you'll have a 2 versus 3. So be prepared when you jump back to immediately look at your screen. I have had these crossings hit many times. Do not disregard them. They are important. Now, I just did a 49 number trot, and I'm going to input the numbers which I hit, or which came, I mean, and I'll show you what I hit and what I missed, and I'll show you how I bet, and I'll show you how the Track4 works. The first number to come was the 0, so I put in the 0. Now you'll see what the tracker has done. You have your columns here, which I will explain as we go along. These are your columns, and up here you have your rows. Now you'll notice the 0 row has an extra set of numbers. Well, it starts from 1 and goes to 36. So since I shrunk the Track4 screen, it causes these numbers to be here. Do not worry about that. Before you ever get to the point of betting that, they will all be gone, and you'll have only the 0, the 1, the 2, the 3, and the greater than 3 as your horizontal rows. So I'm going to put in some more numbers. Now the next number to come was 4, then the 9, then the 0 again. Okay, and you can't go too fast. If you noticed right then it paused. You have to give it a little time to work. Then we had the 5, and then we had the 21. Better make sure I don't have any crossings here. No. Then we had the 6. Okay, and after the 6 we had two 29s back to back. And then we had the 28. Let's see, have I got a crossing yet? No. We had the 28 and the 17. Okay, I will stop at the 17 and do a little bit of explanation. See how the numbers, what I told you, they're going up. I'll put in one more to make that go away. The next number to come was 31. See, that makes it go away completely. Now you have your rows of 0, 1, 2, 3, and greater than 3. And you have your columns of 0, 1, greater than 1, 2, greater than 2, 3, greater than 3. This is where you get your crossings. This is where you learn what to bet. And then up here, it will tell you the exact numbers to bet in numerical order. A crossing is when one of these numbers that is higher goes to a lower number. They become, if you were graphing it on a graph, they will be within 1 or 2 data points of each other. Like one of them will be 12 and the other will be 11. Those are within 1 data point of each other. And you also have 12, 12, which is on the same data line, but that is a crossing. Now right now I don't have any crossings, but I want to explain to you what it would look like if I did. You take your number. Now your numbers always go from a higher number to a lower number. It's always 10 to 9, or it's always 11 to 10. And you always use the numbers without the little greater than sign for your primary or your left number. Your 10 or your whatever, your higher number is always going to be one of these. And what you do, you look at this number and you say, you look out here to the right and you say, is there any number that is the same or one smaller? Now 27 is never a number we'd bet with, so that's probably a bad example. But you could look at the 2 right here and say, is there a number 2 or 1? It has to be the same or one less. You look to the right. Well, all you have are zeros, so you don't have any crossing. So now the next number to come after that was a 21, so let's put that in. I still have no crossing. Then I have the 26 came, and I have no crossing. The next number was the 14. I still have no crossing. And then the 5 came, still no crossing. Then the 4, still no crossing. Now we're getting close to a crossing. Look at this. Anytime your number that's going to be on top, this is your large number and it's always falling. It's always going 10, 9, 8, 7 or whatever. Over here this number will be rising. It's always, the greater thans are always rising. If you look here, it goes 1, 2, 3, 3. They never go backward. They never go backward. They are always rising. Now the 1 number, the 2 number, or the 3 number, they can go up or down. Look at this. We had 5, 6, 5, 6, 7, 8, 7. They can go up or down because here's why. If you had one of these numbers hit, that's a 0, and it becomes a 1. And this goes to 24, and this goes to 8. I will put in a 1 number just to show you what that looks like. I'll just use the number 1 there, and I'll put it in and show you what happens. Watch it go 24, 8. See, this moved from the 1's column over to the 2's column. Now I've got to take that 1 out, so I'll show you how that backup system works. You put in the -2, and there, it takes your 1 out and puts you right back where you were. So what I was saying is you have a crossing here which could happen real easily. Anytime your falling number and your rising number are within 3 of each other, 1 spin can make a crossing. Just 1 spin. Now I'm going to put in a 1 number right here and show you a crossing. I'll use the number 6. I'll put it in. Now you have a crossing. You have a 6 versus 6. This number you want to fall. You want this to become a 5. You want this to become a 7. So you bet on all of these numbers in the 6. This would be all of the 2 numbers, or the 1 numbers, I'm sorry, all of the 1 numbers. 9, 14, 17, 26, 28, 31. Now I've got to take that 6 back out because it doesn't really belong there, so we'll put in that 2 and we'll take it out. So back where we started from, we left off with the 5, 4. The next number to come is 16. Okay, now 5, 8. That could still be a crossing in only 1 spin. The reason why is if you get a hit on this 1 column, this will change to a 7, and this will change to a 6, and that would be excuse me, that would be a crossing. But they must be within 3 of each other, and the reason I'm telling you this is because there will be times that you'll want to look away from the screen or get up and go to the restroom, use get some coffee or something. After a while you will after you've looked at this screen for hours and hours and hours the way I have, you will recognize when you have two spins, that nothing's going to happen and you can get up and leave for a minute. Now these are within 3 of each other. 8, 5. If you got a hit on this one column, say that 6 hit, this would become a 7, this would become a 6. Let's do that just for fun. Say we got a hit there. That's a 7, that's a 6. Now that is a potential crossing. You bet on all of the numbers in the one column. And there they are, 9, 14, 16, 17, 26, 28, 31. If one of those numbers hits, this is always falling, or not always falling, but it will fall. It will fall this time. It will become a 6, and this will become a 7. So they will switch places numerically. Now, before I forget, I've got to take that number out because it doesn't belong there. Okay, after the 16, we had. Let me see. I got to get things set over here right, or I'm gonna start making mistakes. Put in the wrong numbers. Okay, 5, 4, 16. All right, after the 16, we had the 15. We're going to get a crossing here in a minute that I really bet on. We don't have one yet. Now here's a situation where you'd have two spins. Look at this. This is 4. All right. You can say if I got a hit on the 1, let's say that number 6 hit again. Let's put him in there. That will change that to an 8, and it will change the other to a 6. That's not a crossing. But now they're within 2 of each other, so we know the next spin could be a crossing. Now I've got to take that out very carefully. Okay, the number after the 15 is the 3. Okay, I still do not have a crossing. The number after the 3 is the 32. I still do not have a crossing. The number after the 32. Oh, wait a minute. Let's see if I made a mistake here. 15, 3, 32. No, the next number is 7. I still don't have a crossing. I've got to do something real quick. I've made a mistake here. Okay, after the 7 came the 33. I got to make sure I put these numbers in perfectly or my crossings won't come the way they were. I still have no crossing. I have the 19, 13. That's not even close. 5. Now you never use this as your top number. You can never say, oh, I've got a crossing, 5 versus 5. No. The number that you say blank versus blank, the first one you say must be one of the numbers here without the little greater than sign. This is something you just have to learn, you know. Okay, after that, there was another 7 came. Whoa, I didn't mean to put that there. I'm putting my numbers in the wrong place. And after that 7, there was a 21 that came. I still don't have a crossing. 5 to 1, that's 4. There's no crossing imminent there. 12 versus 6, it's a long ways off. 12 versus 5, it's a long ways off. So I put in my next number after the 21, and it was the 2. Okay, now I'm getting closer to a crossing. I have 18, 13. That's only 5 numbers away, but I still don't have anything out here. So I'll put in my next number after the 2, which was the 22. Now I am within 1 of a crossing here, 17, 14. If I were to get another hit on this 0 row right up here, that would create a 16, 15 crossing. Okay, I'm going to put in the next number after the 22, and it was the 14. Okay, I didn't get my crossing. In fact, it moved further away. The reason why was because I got a hit on the 1 column, which changed it from a 14 to a 13. Now that creates nothing out here, and this puts this 4 away, so I know I'm going to have 2 spins to get a crossing here. Now see how these numbers go up and down? The 1, the 2, and the 3, they can go up and down depending upon whether they're added to or detracted, because the 1 means exactly 1. It's not greater than 1, it's not 3. It means that it is 13 numbers have hit exactly 1 time. And if you go up there and count these numbers in that one row, you'll find there are 13 numbers. They've hit exactly 1 time. Now, if that 33 were to hit, this would change to 12, because it means 12 numbers have hit exactly 1 time. Greater than 1 would go to 8, because more than 1 number or greater than 1 number have hit 8 times. And this would go to 7, because because the number exactly 2 has now hit 7 times. And the 0 can only fall. Look, 23, 24, 19, 19, 18, 7. It can never go up, because once a number is gone from the zeros, it can never be unhit. Once it's been hit, it can never be unhit. So bear that in mind. So now after the 14 came the 12. Now, see, I made a mistake right there. See, I put in that 0. That's because my finger dawdled on the enter key. So this is where that 2 comes in real handy, because I can take that 0 out. Okay, now I'm at a 1614, so I know I'm close to a crossing. All I need is a hit on this 1 line, and that will become 1514. I have nothing out here. Okay, after the 12 came the 0. So I'll put in the 0. Oddly enough, that's what I had a minute ago. And that didn't do anything. So still, same thing. And now, here we have a 5 versus 2, and that's getting close. That's within 3 numbers. So a hit here would change this to a 4 and change this to a 3. And that would be a crossing. Okay, after the 0, I get the number 9 coming. I still have no crossing. 16, 13, there's still 3 away. I'm at spin 31, and I have not had 1 crossing. That is unusual. So I will put in my next number, which is after the 9, which is the 29. I still have no crossing. 16, 13 is not a crossing. 1 versus any of these would have to be either a 12 or a 13. I don't have that. 5, 3, that's still a potential within 1 spin. Okay, after the 29 came the 19. Put in the 19. Hello, I got a crossing. 15, 14. Now this was where I placed my first bet today. I am betting all of the numbers in the 0 row. All of these numbers. And I don't have any other crossings. This one is not there. Now, so after the 19, I got the 12, which was a loser. Now that changed it. Now see what happened here. See, I had a 15, 14 crossing. I wanted to hit here, but actually I got a hit here. I got a hit on the 1s. The number that hit was the 12. See how it moved from, let's back up and look at that again. What do you say? I'll put in the -2, and we'll back up and we'll look at that again. Okay, I'm going to put in the 12, but I'm not going to hit enter. See where the 12 is? It's up here in the 1 column. Or, wait a minute. Yeah, the 12 is in the 1 column, right there. And what I want is one of these numbers up here. But now watch that 12 when I hit the enter. Watch where it goes. It'll go from that 1 column to the 2 column. There it is right there. See? That's what it does. Now, that is not a, I lost 15 units right there on that deal. And this is still a potential crossing because it's within 3. You have to think about it because you may want to take a break. Always be thinking. You always got to be looking 3 spins ahead. Always looking 3 spins ahead, because if you don't, you'll miss crossings, and I promise and guarantee you the crossing you miss will hit. It's a law of roulette. The crossing you miss will hit. Okay, we had the 19, 12. The next number to come was the 13. Now, that made a crossing, 14 versus 14. How did that happen? Well, A minute ago we had a 15-13, and we had a hit in the zeros right up here when that 13 hit, and that created a crossing, 14-14. Now I quickly look out here and I see that there's nothing 14 or less, no 14-13. I look here and there's no 5-4. I look here and there's no 3-2. I'm always looking at these, always counting, always calculating, because it will come that they'll have two crossings. So now I bet the 14 numbers of the zero line once again, hoping for a hit. And after the 13 came the 17, which was not a loser, or not a winner, made me very unhappy. What happened here? The very same thing. We bet for a 0 and we got a 1. Now when you see this 0 go from 13-14, that means it was added to. When it goes 14 down to 13, that means it was subtracted from. When it goes 13-14, it was added to. And if you look over here, every time a 0 hits, it adds 1 to this. Every time a 0 hits, it adds 1 to this. But it can never, never, never go the other direction. It's always, 0 is always going downhill. It's going from 36 down to 1. So now we have no crossing now. 14-13. Oh, wait a minute. We do have a crossing. 14-13. But I have bet this. Let's see. Let me think now. No, I'm going to bet it one more time. Okay, after the 17 came the 9. Is that right? Yeah, I got to look here. After the 17 came the 9. Okay. And I missed it. So here's what happened. I bet it on the 14-14 crossing. That's once. I bet it on the 14-13. That's twice. Now the 14-13, I didn't bet this. I don't bet that thing 3 times in a row. You just let it go. And I think I've made a mistake here. I don't remember it happening that way when I was doing it for real. 13, 17, 9. No, that's correct. So I bet it 14-14 and lost, 14-13 and lost, and then I quit. Then the next one that came, I didn't bet. I look out here to see if I have any other crossings. This is getting close right here. This is within one hit. 13-10. There's 3 between the two. If I were to get a hit here, this would go down to 12, and greater than would go up to 11. So that would be a 12-11 crossing. Okay, my number after the 9 was the 24. So I'll put in the 24. That made the crossing, and I wasn't there because it had already hit twice. So there's the crossing, and that made the one of the zeros went to a 1, and that was the 24. It went from the 0, where to go? Right here. It went from the 0 to the 1, and that created a crossing. But I'd already bet it twice, and it had missed once that I didn't bet it. So you have to only bet them. You divide 36 by your bet. 14 into 36 will only go twice and have some left over. If you're betting 9 numbers, 9 into 36 will go 4. You can bet it 4 times. If you're betting 12 numbers, 12 into 36 will go 3. You can bet a 12 number crossing 3 times. That's the way I do it. Okay, now that's the way Winkle said to do it. Now I put in the next number to come, which is a 7. Okay, have we got a crossing now? Hey, we do have a crossing. Look at this. We have a 2 versus greater than 2. 5 to 5. Okay, so what I want it to happen now is one of these 2 numbers right here to go into the 3 column. So the next number to come after that 7, make sure I got it right, 924, was the 27. See if that's a winner. No, that is not a winner. I still have that crossing though. I have a 5 to 5, 2 versus greater than 2. And also, if you want to look out here, you can call this a crossing too. 2 versus 3. This is kind of a double crossing where you have the 5 being in all 3 places, because it's a 2 versus greater than 2, and it's a 2 versus 3. Now, I'm getting close to a crossing here between this 12 and 10. If I had a hit right here on the 1, that would make that an 11. And then I would have a 12-11 crossing. It always goes from the left of your screen to the right of your screen. The number here must be 1 less or equal in any column you bet on. 1 less or equal. A 12 must be 1211 or it must be 1212. It cannot be 1210. That's two numbers apart. Okay, after that 27 came the 5. The 5 itself came. Let's see what that does. Hello, I got a winner. See how that 5, 4, 5, 5 went to 4, 6? That's my winner because the 5 went from the 2 column right down here to the 3 column. Now I look over here and I say, I look at this 12 and my mind says, do I have 11, 12? No. I look at this. We're always looking at the number without the little greater than. I look at this and I say, do I have a 14, 15? No. I look at this, I say, do I have a 4, 3? No. I look at this, I say, do I have a 6? No, I'm going to have that. Okay, now after the 5, we get the 7. So I'll put in the 7, see if that creates a crossing. No, it does not. I have exactly the same thing. Now what happened there is we had the 7 hit and it went from being a 3 number to greater than 3. So the 3 has hit more, the 7 has hit more than 3 times in this trot. You see 2 of them right there. Okay, after the 7, then we had the 17. Okay, the 17. Let's see if that makes a crossing. No, because I don't have a 12, 11. I don't have a 14, 15. I don't have a 2, 3, and so forth. So I will put in the next number, which is the 9. See what that does. Do I have a crossing? No, same thing. Only thing here, another number has hit more than 3 times. Now the 9 has joined the 7. He has hit more than 3 times. And here I have a potential for the next spin to create a crossing, because if another one of these hit, this would become a 4 and this would become a 3, and that would become a crossing. Okay, after the 7, 17, I've got to find that. 7, 17, 9. I can't find it. I think I've made a mistake. It's very difficult. I'm looking over here at the screen. Here's what I'm looking at. It's a notepad. I'll explain to you later what that is. Okay, I had 5, 27, 5, 7, okay, I've made some kind of mistake here. Okay, I'll just wing it from here because there's some things I want to show you anyway. So I'm going to close the notepad and I will show you a few things here. And I'm not going to save the numbers, I'm just going to kill it. Now, notice how on this 0 column you've had 12, 12, 12, 12, 12. You count the number where it goes 13 to 12. You count the 12s, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and subtract 1. And it tells you that there have been 4 times that 12 number has not hit. Now, suppose that you keep getting hits on the 1. Eventually, that 1 is going to drop down to where it is an 11. And then you have a crossing. This is what I call a premium crossing. And the reason I call it that is because the longer this goes without a hit, and I know this is gambler's fallacy, but I swear to God I see it all the time. The longer this goes without a hit and the more hits this one get, the greater your chances to win. So if this was a 14, if it was a 13, if it were a 12, and then it were 11, if you got 4 hits off this thing, then you have a very good chance. And I call that a premium crossing, where you have had this thing sleep at least 4 times and then come into play. And it can be, this could be right here, could be a 12, well, it couldn't be a 12, it'd be a 13, and you could get just one more hit and that would make it a 12, and then you'd have a 12-12 crossing. So that's something that you want to watch. Now I will show you the crossing which I call the secondary crossing, and that is the 0 versus greater than 1. And to get that, I'm going to put in a number right here. I'm going to put in one of the number 1 numbers. I'll just put in the 3. It looks good. Now, you have a 12 versus 11. But you notice how we jumped over that 1 to get there. Now, this is what I call a secondary crossing. Because if you get a hit, now you do bet this, even though it will not make the numbers swap with each other the way this 4 and 5 did up here when it went from 5 to 5, 4 to 6. It won't do that. But it will create, once it hits, it will create a primary crossing. If you were to look at this on graph paper, your 0 would be on the 12 line, your greater than 1 would be on the 11 line. You're betting for the 0 to occur. If that does occur, let's put in a 0 number and see what happens. Number 1, it does occur. Look what happened. This went down to an 11, this went up to a 15, but this did not change. Your 11, 11, this data point did not move because the 0 became a 1. It did not become a greater than 1. Now you have another chance to bet this, the 11 versus the 11. So if another one of these 0 number hits, say the number 8, let's see what happens. Now it becomes a 10, 11. They did switch places on the graph because this one is now on a 10 line, which is lower than 11, but the 11 never went up. See? And this is kind of a crossing where one of them is stationary and the other one crosses instead of both of them crossing at the same time. Now I'm going to take that 8 out because there's something else I want to show you here. So I'll put the -2 and take the 8 out. Now you have here what I call a backward crossing, where you have the 0 and the greater than 1 being equal. Many times this number right here, the 1, will hit. The 1 is a 1. Let's put in a 1 and see what happens. Okay, now you have a crossing because the 12 or the greater than 1 has gone to 12 and it has gone up on your graph. This one has stayed stationary on your graph, but they have crossed. They were, this one was 12, this one was higher, this one was lower. Then they were on the equal, and now they've crossed. And this is a backward crossing. You can bet it if you want to. Winkle says not to, but I've bet it a few times and had some luck with it. Now I'm going to take that out and put us back where we were. Now, this secondary crossing can occur in 2 or 3 different places. It can occur from 0 to greater than 1. It can occur from 2 to greater than 3. It can go from 1 to greater than 2. Anytime it has to jump numbers, it is a secondary crossing. And it's something that at first I thought, this is I called it a non-crossing crossing because I said it does not cross even if it hits. But I have to defer to Winkle on this because he's right. I mean, you bet it and you win enough of them that you make money off of it. So you don't argue with what works. So that's basically the crossings. Now, I don't know what else I could say except to show you the jump back feature. And when you okay, like right now, just the way this thing looks, let's say we just won on that 0. Let's put that 8 back in and say we won on that 0. Okay, we have a 10 to 11. Now once the 0 and the greater than 0, once they've crossed, they will never cross again because the 0 is always falling, the greater thans are always rising. So this is 10 and this is 11, and their paths can never cross again. So you can just mentally mark those out of your mind if you can do that. And believe me, when you've looked at this 100 hours the way I have, you will learn to mark them out of your mind. So you look for crossings that are going to happen soon, and you say to yourself, do I want to stay with this trot or do I want to jump back? So what's got to happen to get a crossing? You got to get a hit here. That would make that a 15 and a 12. you got to get another hit, which would make it 14, 13. So you'd have to get 2 hits right there in a row, and that would give you a crossing. So you might want to hang around for that, because that's a good crossing. Also, you could get a hit on, let's see, what else? You could get a hit on the 1, and that would make this a 5. Let's put in a 1. Let's put in the number 2, and that'll make this a 5. Now you have a 2 versus 3 crossing. 5, 5. Now let's talk about betting multiple crossings, which Winkle says not to do, but I do it anyway. And I have had really good luck betting multiple crossings. And that's where you have, let's just create a phony crossing here. Let's hit that 1. Let's put in the 1. That'll make a 14, 13. That's a crossing right there. Now, we have 2 crossings. We have the 14, 13, which is the 1 versus greater than 1, 1 versus greater than 1. And out here, we have the 2 versus 3, 6 numbers, 5 numbers. We have 6. So I would bet, even though Winkle says not to, I do this and I win, so I'm going to keep doing it. I will bet 20 numbers. I will bet the 14, and then I will bet the 6. I will bet the numbers of the 1 row, and then I'll jump down and bet the numbers of the 2 row. And really, you can, once you've learned to do this, you can get in 20 numbers in the time allotted in the online casinos. Mine allots me 27 seconds at Bella Vegas, and I can get it in real easy. So that's basically that. Now let's just say, for instance, you've come to a point, and see we're at number 49. So we need to be thinking jump back right now. So let's go ahead and I'll put in the jump back, which is -1, and we jump back. Now look what happened. Man, I mean, we're back to 20. We're back to spin number 20, and the last spin to come was that 1. Now sometimes you think, oh man, I got nothing going on here, I can take a break. Well, maybe you can and maybe you can't, because if that number 2, if one of those hits, let's say that 7 hits, okay, now you've got a crossing right here. You've got the 2 versus greater than 2, 2 versus 3. You got that, although this is a crossing. So you've always got to be on the lookout to make sure that you don't miss a crossing, because when I first started this, I missed a pot full of these. And there's nothing that hurts worse when you see that 1 come, and you could have won that. If you'd have been on the 1 and 17 with only 2 chips down, you could have won that. And you go back and watch my videos, and you will see time after time where I hit these things. I bet them a lot, I miss them a lot, but I hit them a lot. And in the end, I have taken $200 and pumped it up to currently $1,152. So I must be doing something right. So that's about all I need to tell you. If anybody has any questions, if they will post their questions, I will certainly do everything I can to answer them. I hope I haven't obfuscated this issue or been cloudy, or as Winkle said, put clouds in the coffee. But it's been fun. I will see you later.